Welcome back, everybody. My name is Wolfie Cruz, and welcome back to part 2 of the... Wait for the text. There it is. My top 10 video games from my childhood. Now, this one's going to be a very interesting one because I couldn't decide. So, this one's going to be a series that's been on multiple consoles. So, I'm breaking my own rule that I made on part 1, but what can I do? I couldn't decide. So, let's get started, shall we? Number 9. The reason why I chose 9 KUB or Kurama for number 9, I just thought it would be funny. So, you don't like it? Piss off. So, the game I chose for my number 9 is the Resident Evil series, starting from Resident Evil 2. In Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2 is the very first survival horror game I've played before. I know my parents were jerks and gave me one of my very first games is Resident Evil, which I got scared shitless and could not sleep for like weeks. But I still think it's a pretty good game. I've beaten it before in the 2 different side stories of Leon and Claire Redfield, but sadly I never played Resident Evil 1, so I did not know the backstory of how this all occurred until I watched the first movie, which gave like a backstory, not like a backstory, I don't know. I just did not know the plot of Resident Evil. I thought it was just regular old zombie apocalypse started by the government. But on Resident Evil 3, Nemesis is the second Resident Evil game I've played. Now, in Resident Evil 3, it's kind of different in some ways. Like, for one, you are just stationed as one character, Claire Redfield, who is trying to escape Raccoon City before it is nuked. While you're trying to escape the city, you are constantly chased by zombies, hellhounds, and the worst threat you can think of. A living bioweapon whose only sole mission is to kill all STARS members. And that bioweapon's name is Nemesis. He is a tough bastard. You kill him in the end of the game, but constantly you're trying to either run past him, and if you do manage to incapacitate him, you get good weapons. Weapon parts, I mean. In Resident Evil 4, you encounter a newer form of virus known as Las Plagas. While you're trying to... And the main character of this one is Leon S. Kennedy, who's working for the U.S. government and trying to help the president's daughter, Ashley. And you encounter multiple characters like Ada, Krauser, and whatever the hell his name is that ends up getting killed later, like impaled in the chest by a tentacle. But constantly you're under attack, like from a chainsaw guy, from pitchfork wielding dudes to sights to the freaking blind guy, from giants to bugs. Hell, everything's trying to kill you in this while you're trying. But here's the thing, you have to protect someone. Now, in Resident Evil 5, I chose the picture for Golden Edition because I just felt like it. What to say about Resident Evil 5? You play as Chris Redfield with your side partner, not Jill as they show in the cover, but whatever the hell her name is. I forget her name completely. But you're in Africa, in all places, and you're shooting black people. Really? Capcom? Really? In Asia, shooting black guys? Really? Is that the best you can come up with? I just haven't much things to talk about Resident Evil 5 because I think it's just plain racist. And the reason why I keep pausing because I'm drinking their chocolate shake, trying to keep my throat nicely hydrated. But moving on, Resident Evil 6. This one I thought was cool, because this one is a step better from Resident Evil 5, but it's still more like a shooter than a survival horror. And you get to have a partner. Depending on whose story you play as, will depend on your partner. If you're playing as Ada, your partner is just a random dude. Play as Sherry Birkin's story, your partner is going to be Jake Mueller, who is, spoilers who have never played Resident Evil 6. This is a spoiler warning. If you don't want this, if you never played Resident Evil 6 and don't want to spoil it to you, click ahead of this right now. Is Albert Wesker's supposed son. Now, don't ask me how that works, or who Albert Wesker had sex with to have Jake Mueller, but supposedly, yeah, he's Wesker's son. If you play as Chris Redfield, your partner is Pierce. Now, on to the Wii versions of Resident Evil, starting with Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. Resident Evil: Umbrella Chronicles, it's just a shooter. It's just a scrolling shooter game that you just point and shoot with your Wiimote. Press the A button to pick up random items. Use the motion button. Not the motion button, the D-pad on the remote itself to switch between weapons, and hold the A button or Z button to use your knife. Now, what it goes through is like different scenarios from Resident Evil 1 through, I believe, Resident Evil 1 through, it's like 1 through 3, I believe, because you fight Nemesis, and I don't know where you end up in this facility fighting this bioweapon, but yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Now, on to the Darkside Chronicles. Darkside Chronicles I thought was very interesting, because it stepped up from graphics from the Umbrella Chronicles, but still it was a shooter. But this one continued from all the other games to the Code Veronica series, where you fight whatever the hell her name was. I never played the Umbrella. Not the Umbrella Chronicles. The Code Veronica. I never played Code Veronica, so I do not know the whole story. But I knew it branched to the Code Veronica. And this time, you get one of the selected characters for stories you get to play as is Leon S. Kennedy and Krauser, who in Resident Evil 4, Krauser is a total dick and tries to kill you. I don't know what sprouted Krauser to be like that, but yeah. So you end up having to kill Krauser in Resident Evil 4. I forgot to mention it's a boss. He's a boss, but he's fairly easy. So yeah. To sum up this number 9, that will be whatever. I'll just put top 10, part 2, of my top 10 games from my childhood. Part 2, the Resident Evil series. So yeah, if you guys thought of this choice to be very good, please let me know. If you could just say I could have just chose the PlayStation 1 game instead, then all means just say that would have been better instead of saying the Resident Evil series. But I thought it was still pretty good from there on. But yeah, that's it for now for part 2 of my top 10 games from my childhood. My name is Wolfie Cruz, and I'll see you guys next time.